Hello, welcome to Do It Yourself Quarantine Celebrations. I'm your party girl, Karen Sawyer, and I'm going to walk you through the guide. But before we start with the guide, I just wanted to introduce myself. I am a certified event planner and party expert. I am a mother of five and a former foster parent of over 50 children. So I've had many celebrations for the children in my care. So that does make me a party expert. And I'm also a wife of 25 years. So, again, welcome to Do It Yourself Quarantine Celebrations. I'm going to walk you through the guide. So, let's get started. Do It Yourself Quarantine Celebrations. Okay, so these are the things we're going to cover today. We're going to do a quick party planning checklist. I'm going to also share some creative pandemic ideas with you, some party theme ideas, professional decorating tips, and some table setting etiquette. Celebrating during a pandemic, there are so many ways you can have fun and make the best of the situation while you stay safe and protect others during a quarantine. The very first thing you must do is give yourself permission to have fun and to celebrate. I know that we are right now feeling that we are in the midst of a twilight zone. There is so much gloom and doom, and some people feel a little guilt behind celebrating. You need to give yourself permission because happy is not canceled and milestones are not canceled. So give yourself permission to go ahead and celebrate. That's step number one. Now, let's do a quick party planning checklist. Obviously, you know you need to select a date and time. However, I want you to really put some thought in the date because if you are going to be doing a virtual celebration, there are a few people that you may want to be present for that attend church. They may physically be attending church outdoors under a tent, or they may be doing it virtually. So you got to think, if you're going to do it on a Sunday, think about doing your time after the church hour, okay? Also, if you're going to be doing like a drive-by parade and you're going to do it outside, well, obviously you need a rain plan. So if you're going to, say, for an example, do your drive-by parade on a Sunday, well, it might not make sense to do the rain date on a Monday because some people have to attend work either virtually or actually drive into an office. So perhaps do a Friday with a rain date of a Saturday, or a Saturday with a rain date on a Sunday, but remember the time for Sunday. Okay, so put some thought around the date and time. And if it is for smaller children, you have to also consider nap times. So put some thought into your date and time. Okay, so you need to decide if you're going to do it indoor or outdoor. If you're going to do it outdoor, have a plan in case of inclement weather. So for an example, you might want to have a tent on standby in the case of rain, or be prepared to do it in your garage, okay? Determine your budget. You do need to determine a budget even if you're going to do it virtually, or if you're going to be doing a drive-by parade, because if you have to rent a tent and there's budget there, you need to include that in your budget. If you're going to do any type of favor, so all the people are driving by, are you going to give them t-shirts? Are you going to give them goodie bags? Are you going to give them a nice box with a little cupcake in it? So determine your budget, so that will help you determine exactly how to prepare for the event that you are going to be hosting. So decide upon a theme and color scheme, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. Create a music playlist. I tell people this all the time. I've attended many celebrations because I also am a professional children's entertainer. And it's amazing to me how many parties I go to that don't have music. I think people forget about that very important element. Think about when you go watch a movie. When there is danger coming, they have the appropriate music, to clench the arms of your chair because something is getting ready to happen. When it's a happy time, we have gleeful music. Music really sets the mood, sets the stage. So if you're going to have a princess party, obviously you're going to look for princess music. For an example, you might have a soundtrack from Frozen. So just think about the music that you would like to set the stage for your party. And then obviously you should prepare your guest list. Now, your guest list, if you're doing it virtual, you need to consider what platform you're using because you only have a certain number of people you can invite if you're doing a free plan. If you're doing a drive-by parade, for an example, then you need to know how many t-shirts or favors or cupcakes, etc. you need to have. Okay, so do prepare your guest list. Now, here are a few ideas. Let's do a staycation for an example. Let's just play with it. So if it's outdoors, we're going to call it Porta Backyarda or Porta Front Yarda. It's just fun. So you can turn your yard, if it's front yard or backyard, into Paris, for an example. You can have a theme with that, okay? So let's call it Porta Backyarda, Porta Front Yarda. You can, it could be Mexico, anything you could think of. I want you to be creative here. If you're doing a drive-by parade, that is trending. Consider doing it at night where everyone could have glow necklaces and glow bracelets. That would be lots of fun. You could hand that to all the people driving by. A few people may want to stop and step out for a little bit as long as everyone's practicing safe social distancing and have masks. That is totally fine. Also, consider doing a backyard drive-in movie theater. That's always fun. I did that for my son's 13th birthday party. This was before the pandemic, but nonetheless, it was one of his fondest memories for his birthday party. And then all your guests will bring their lawn chairs and their blankets. And we did a concession stand. We had popcorn, we had pizza. Obviously, there's candy. That is always fun. And then you can do a picnic in the backyard or in your garage. Let's do it like a garden picnic. That would be fun. And then you can have flowers as your decor. And then you can do camping and glamping. But guess what? You can do it outside and you can also do it indoors in your living room. So that takes us into indoors, lost living room. If you want to do a virtual birthday, theme it. Tell everyone to show up in costume and create. If it's going to be a superheroes party, is it going to be a royal ball so they can come as princesses and princes and queens and kings? You can do a virtual themed birthday party. Let's make it a little bit different. And then if it's just going to be for your intimate family because you are not comfortable with having guests, then turn your house into your kitchen or your living room into a little bistro. Have a cultural cuisine. Okay, it could be for breakfast or it could even be for dinner. And hey, have you ever considered having dinner in a tent? It just makes it memorable and fun. And then with regard to your themes, here's a few ideas for your kids. You can do a tea or you could do a masquerade. You get it? A masquerade, but everyone has masks. If it's outdoors, everyone can practice social distancing, and then the kids can create their own mask. That would be a fun craft idea. You could do a carnival, a royal ball, and superheroes, as I already mentioned. And for the adults, you could do tiki, Hollywood, cheers and beer, and a luau. If you're able to go outside and you're not on lockdown, right now we have a ban of 250 max for outdoors. You can still do a luau. Everyone's doing social distancing. You can do your pool party and everyone is safely distanced around the pool. And an alternative, if you don't want to have a theme, consider a color scheme. Select your guest of honor's favorite color. And that takes me to decorate like a pro. Color theory. Yes, I'm taking you back to elementary school, but I want you to only remember two eye-catching simple color schemes. A monochromatic color scheme is one color where you have different tints, tones, and shades of one color. If you go with a monochromatic color scheme, you can never mess that up, and you can always add to that white, black, gold, or silver. So as an example, red. If you add pink, that's the tint of red. So red and pink look great together. Then if you add gray or black, you can add maroon or burgundy. So you cannot mess up a monochromatic color scheme. And a complementary color scheme, there's three of those that I want you to remember. You have red and green, beautiful. That's why during the Christmas holiday season, everything is so vibrant. Red and green are beautiful together. You have blue and orange. And then my favorite, purple and yellow. To me, that reminds me of royalty. So if you go with a complementary color scheme or monochromatic color scheme, you can't mess that up. You will be decorating like a pro. Now, as for your decorations, you want to consider your tablescape. That was coined by the TV celebrity, reality TV host Sandra Lee. It's simply where you have your centerpiece go down the entire table. Instead of landscaping, we call it a tablescape. It's how you decorate your table. Then you consider balloons, handmade posters, streamers, yard cards, photographs, whatever you decide. Okay, so as far as tablescaping, let's go over that a little bit. Signs are fun to add to your tablescape. It doesn't have to be anything complicated. Simply use a vase with flowers or whatever you like. You can put down the middle of the table framed artwork that your children have made. You can put down the middle of the table any letters that may have something you've saved or cards, anything you like. You could be creative here. And in this picture here, you just simply see if the crown fits. It's just simply a sign added to the crown set on a little pedestal. So be creative. And then I have a runner going down the table. Here, instead of using a sign, I have a balloon. So it's a balloon centerpiece. It could be just very simple. It doesn't have to be that complicated. That's going straight down the middle of the table. Here, you'll see that I have something a little bit more elaborate in the middle of the table. And then I have hurricane vases with water and then a little votive candle. And then I've used some gems and some flower petals. And that takes up the whole middle of the table. And then you'll see here's another tablescape, but instead of having it going down the middle of the table, I moved it to the front of the table. Candlesticks are great options for a tablescape. Okay, so let's go back. With regard to our table setting etiquette, first of all, I want to tell you to use a tablecloth. You don't have to go out if you don't have one. A sheet will work, a colored sheet, any bedding that your one of your child's favorite superhero or princess. They make fun tablecloths. Now, if you don't know how to set your table, I want to give you a few acronyms to help you remember this. Okay, so for forks, you will never forget that. So with F means obviously your fork, your salad fork and your dinner fork, okay? And then O stands for the O shape, that is your plate. And then everything to the right, the R stands for everything to the right, will be your knife and your spoon. Now with your knife, the correct way of setting it is with the cutting side facing the plate. Okay, so forks, fork, oval, which is your plate, everything to the right is your knife and your spoon. You will never mess that up. Okay, another way you can remember is the acronym B and D. I want you to hold up in front of you, touch the tips of your thumbs to the tips of your forefingers, okay? To make a lowercase b, and with your left hand, a lowercase d. This reminds you that the bread and butter go to the left of the place setting and drinks go to the right. So B and D. And then the last one is BMW. Who can't remember BMW? It stands for B for bread. So it's to the left of the meal. M is your meal. So to the left is your bread, then in the middle is your meal, and then lastly, the W represents water. So that's for your drinks. It's to the right of the meal. Okay, so BMW. And then your napkin goes to the left of the fork or on the plate. Now, obviously, rules are made to be broken, but those are just the rules for table setting etiquette. Party. Look, life deserves to be celebrated. Celebrate everything until further notice. Make some good memories during this unprecedented time. Use this guide for both milestones and holidays that occur during our social distancing phase of life. That's graduations, births, anniversaries. Birthdays for young and old deserve to be celebrated. So I want you to remember life's a party and make it fun. I hope that guide was helpful and it will help you plan the most fun and memorable celebration. Now, I know some people feel that they are not creative and they just would prefer to have someone else help them. But look, I know that you can do this and know that I'm here. So I do offer private consultations. So if you feel that you need a little support in planning the perfect quarantine celebration, I want you to go ahead and reach out to me and use the code DIY to get 37% off my regular consultation price. And if you should have any other questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And my email is info@thepartypalooza.com. All right. Again, remember, life's a party. Make it fun. Bye, y'all.